Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. Ooh, hey, everybody. Welcome in. Second intermission. Avs Mammoth. Avs went into the period up 1-0. The Mammoth get 2 to go in what was a really interesting period that got a little physical, got a little chippy, and had multiple controversial moments going in both directions. But Megan, I really do think that there was at least one moment there where a call went against the Avs, and it really changed a lot about the way that second period unfolded. Broad strokes for you, your thoughts on how that second period kind of played out. Utah definitely tilted the ice in their favor, at least for the back half of that one.
Yeah, it was a sloppier period for Colorado, the puck management. And so I think the overall game management suffered and Utah took advantage of it. In talking about the high danger opportunities and the slight advantage to Utah after one period, I think Utah capitalized on that. And it doesn't feel like a 2-1 game because we've seen 2 goals now called back in this game already. So it's been kind of a weird period of hockey, very eventful. I think it disrupted the flow of things a little bit too through this point. So I'd like to see the Avs settle things back down the way they did after the opening minutes in that first period where they had a few turnovers in their own end. Because this is still very much a close game within striking distance, but that was a really bad period of hockey from Colorado. And they have been so solid in their structure in the season through this point that I think this third period will be a very big test of the mental fortitude of this group right now.
No, I completely agree with you because there was a moment where things went against them and it did feel a little bit like it slid out of their grasp a bit after that. We talked in the first intermission about, hey, if your power play isn't going, but your penalty kill is working and you can tie on the special teams battle, well, hey, that kind of negates things. Well, they're losing the special teams battle right now. They'll go into the third period on a power play, which you never really love. Power plays at the beginning of new periods are statistically way less likely to be converted on. But the Avs need to find a way to get something going here. You mentioned 2 goals called back in this period. One was a goaltender interference against the Utah Mammoth. Liam O'Brien skates right through the blue paint, makes contact with Scott Wedgwood coming from his right, and that's exactly where the shot goes. Wedgwood couldn't do his job. Right before that, some Game 7 against the San Jose Shark flashbacks, Megan, as Gabe Landeskog gets a goal, gets on the board. Being reviewed for offside. I have a major problem with a couple different things about the way that this call goes. I hate that it was even, for one, being looked at as offside. And again, it's the same spirit of the rule that we saw several years ago with 2019 Gabe Landeskog's controversial offside call in the Game 7 against the Sharks. 2 players for the Avs that were deemed eligible to be substituted out are still getting through the doorway on the bench. That is what initially caused the stoppage for challenging for offside. But then this is where it gets really controversial, Megan, and something people have heard me pound the drum for this for years. I would love to get an explanation from an official after the game, because the explanation that ESPN reported was given from Toronto in the Situation Room from the NHL, I don't think is an acceptable answer in a game that counts for something. Dylan Guenther is being pressured by Val Nichushkin near his own blue line as the Avs players are still changing in what would have been offside. Dylan Guenther plays the puck back into his own zone, again, with Val Nichushkin bearing down on him. That is supposed to negate an offside call. A Utah player played the puck back into his own zone without it being touched by an Avalanche player. That is onside. By the way the rule is written, 83.1, that is onside. The NHL Situation Room, the explanation that was provided to ESPN for the broadcast was, they felt that Val Nichushkin's actions caused Dylan Guenther to have to play the puck back into his own zone. Therefore, it is offside. That is not the rule. That was an official call made based on an interpretation of a rule. That's not the rule. Like I said, I have a problem in principle with the fact that you're even deeming guys that are changing, that are eligible to be substituted out. I have an issue with that being grounds to even look at an offside. That's more of a principality thing. But this, you're not calling the rule. You aren't calling the rule, and it takes a goal off the board, and it completely changed the momentum in this game, which led to, Utah, big credit to them. They definitely ran with the opportunity, but I have a big problem with that, and I would feel the same way regardless of who I'm watching. You that's not the rule. And I just don't get that.
No, I think if the intent was so clear from Guenther too, we wouldn't have first been looking to see if Nichushkin touched this puck, because it's not clear that Guenther intentionally sends it back into his own zone and that this puck isn't being pressured off of him in a mishandling of the puck type situation because of the incoming pressure of Val Nichushkin. It doesn't look clear to me in watching it that it's very deliberate from Guenther to put it back into his own end. And that's why, too, it's kind of bobbling away, but also so close to Nichushkin's stick that it was more believable outright that Nichushkin was intentionally handling this puck because it was turned over to him, and not that Guenther deliberately put it there. So I guess that's where you see the narrative changes. Oh, we're not actually looking to see if Nichushkin touches this puck anymore, but rather we're reevaluating Guenther's intentions.
Right.
And I think that's a really difficult precedent to set because, one, this is a really standard play where you want your player, as the team is making a change, to apply pressure on the forecheck. And that's exactly what players are encouraged to do. It sets a weird precedent then if we're going to start speculating intention and playing mind-reading games. I think there was a stronger case to be made in looking at the players coming off the ice and, is Nathan McKinnon's skate still on the ice? Things like that. Right. You would have had me there because at least the precedent is more established and consistent in how it's been honored. This is completely new, and it's not how we even start in the evaluation process with the review for this goal. So I'm of the thinking that there's checks and balances, and the path to winning in this game for the Colorado Avalanche still exists in spite of this. But it is frustrating because now we have a consistency concern of how this is going to be called moving forward.
And Megan, truthfully, that's what you just said right there. Like, that's the number one thing for me. Like you said, the Avs still have a path to win this game, and you've got to find a way to not let things like that, disrupt your flow, what you're doing, your intention, your game plan. And again, I think the Avs are a mature enough team that I'd be willing to bet we see them come out and get a handle on things. But it's exactly what you just said. It's like, whoa. Okay, so now, you're going to sit here and say, don't forecheck them, because then they might need to skate it back and you're still offside.
I thought he mishandled it.
Right.
I thought he bobbled it because he got, panicky.
Right.
Because of Nichushkin.
And so he bobbles it, panics, and puts it back into his own zone. And from how many times did they show that slow-mo frame-by-frame replay? Did Val touch it? This was a review that went on for several minutes. To me, it's called a goal on the ice. It's deemed onside on the ice. You've got to let that stand. If you aren't, and again, this isn't us speculating. That's what they said. This was the official NHL Situation Room explanation provided to Dave Jackson, Colorado local, shout out. Dave Jackson, the ESPN NHL rules analyst, former NHL referee. That was the explanation they gave to him. We felt Val's intention caused Guenther to play that puck back. Okay.
That's not Val Nichushkin's problem.
You took the words out of my mouth. That's not Val's problem. And the Avs get punished for it.
That's a good forecheck.
Right. You're trying to apply pressure and you're trying to disrupt what your opposition's doing. The Avs get a goal called back for it. And like I said, you absolutely have to be better about, being able to push back on that, but it does tilt the ice in Utah's way. I really don't like that call because of what you said. It's the precedent, or now lack of precedent that you're kind of setting. That all being said, a lot the Avs need to clean up. Marty Netchus is fighting the puck in this game, Megan.
Trying to see if we've got
or
it.
at least in the second period. I shouldn't fully say in this game, not second period. I mean, beating the puck up, turnovers, struggling to get out from his own zone. And it just felt a little bit like that was the theme for the Avs there in the last, 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I will come back to that in just a second. Call aside, I really liked this goal because of what each player represented on it. Landeskog as the goal scorer. Nichushkin is kind of a net front threat, but it's really Nelson who is the screen at the net front. And I think we've talked about this before, how the size of each of these players can pose a net front threat.
Yep.
And it could be a rotation of really any of them. And so Nelson, not necessarily the name I immediately think of when I think of net front threat, but I like that he acts as the screen, taking away Vejmelka's eyes here to help Landeskog get this not goal. So what I liked is this is a line that we've wanted to see get going offensively. It's so important that they don't let this squash their confidence or even influence the way they play. I still want to see Val Nichushkin involved on the forecheck in the final seconds of his shift. I hope this doesn't influence the way they navigate that moving forward. That aside, you're right. This is a weird period because there's high energy, high skill plays that are being made. Like McKinnon has that 2-on-1 that goes off the knob of Vejmelka's stick. And even Marty Netchus has that breakaway, and it's Sergachev who makes that really good defensive play
really nice
to
stick.
tie him up. But, that's otherwise a good play from Netchus and the angled pass up ice to get him sparked in transition like that off the rush. Really great play. So there's these isolated strong plays, but they lead to play coming their other way, and they haven't been as prepared for some of those arrivals. And so I think that even looking at the goal that gets called back, the Marino goal from the top of the circle, the coverage there at the net front's dicey at best. And it's honestly Liam O'Brien, he gets inside Jack Drury, which is bad, but in doing it is also in the crease and makes contact with Wedgwood, which is good for the Avs. But it's also I don't want to see guys getting through the net front so easily.
Well, and then right after that, the power play goal that Utah scores, there's a miscommunication out high between Parker Kelly and Josh
silly,
Manson,
Jesse.
Where it's will somebody take him or somebody draw? They just kind of both end up covering nobody.
This was so weird. I watched as there was a puck battle along the wall, and Manson's creeping up on it as they're battling for the puck, and Clayton Keller pulls up on him and gives him a little check, just a little cross check in the back. And it's like this baits Manson into becoming discombobulated because he realizes he needs to draw back, and in doing so collides with Parker Kelly in the slot. Parker Kelly's covering his guy out high, as he should, but Manson's eyeing him as well too.
Right.
Not the guy who just tapped him in the back that drew his attention backwards anyways. And so now Clayton Keller's left all alone on the other side of the ice to get that puck out high, and it just it's
that is what just happened to Megan is exactly what was going through my brain as the play was unfolding, where it's well, where are you both going?
Yes.
And
why are I'm not faulting Parker Kelly because
one of them's got to talk. One of them's got to say
Manson accidentally bumps into him, so he now is also discombobulated.
Right,
It's like what happened to Dylan Gunther at the blue line.
Right. Yeah, that goal shouldn't have counted. What happened there, the actions made the puck go back.
Look, brains turn off in hockey, and it shouldn't be anyone else's fault but the person whose brain turned off. So now Kelly and Manson have collided a little bit. Now Kelly's actually pretty true to what he should be doing there initially.
I also get what Josh Manson was a little bit out of position anyway, so I think he's trying to improvise a bit, but he needs to let Parker Kelly know, I'm going to take this puck. We need to, because I'm with you. Parker Kelly was technically in the right spot. It was the fact that Josh Manson was also there that was the problem.
Right, because now Clayton Keller's behind him at the circle alone, and so it gives that lane to Keller. Wedgwood makes the initial save, but that rebound is now at the front, and now Nick Schmaltz is somehow inside of Devon Tate. So there's culpability all around. Brains are turning off. That's where I'm going with this. That's what I mean. It's silly. It's avoidable. It's not like, man, that was just a good hockey play. You've got Josh Manson crashing into teammates because he got confused because Clayton Keller touched his butt. Like, it was silly, and I'm not going to, be hard on the penalty kill as a whole because of one silly thing, but then another silly thing happens on the Lawson Krause goal.
Well, and I just want to make sure that, being fair of, you and I beat up Gavin Brindley and Sam Malinsky pretty good in a preseason game for a lack of communication that just led to a breakdown. And that's where I come back to on this. Like, you're so right. It is such an avoidable error to make in your own end that, hey, you got to talk, you got to communicate better. And those are the little moments where, again, I don't have a problem with Josh Manson trying to flash out high and say, I'm closer, I'll take this, this bump out here. But you've got to tell somebody that you're doing that so that you can get support in behind you. That's such an easy fixable thing. We got 80 seconds here before the second period gets started. Quick thoughts on the way that second period ended. Karel Vejmelka has been very good, and what you want to see for the Avs going into the third.
I'll just say that Lawson Krause goal, Ilya Solovyov, it's a miscue. He knows it. When that goal goes in the back of the net, he slams his stick. He's frustrated. He just, he tried to angle the puck below the goal line back to Malinsky, and it just had too much mustard on it, and it evades him.
Too much of a no look. It's like, ooh, maybe check a little bit.
Yeah. Now Malinsky's chasing that puck. Solovyov, to correct his mistake, also chasing that puck. And so now it has left a lane back to Stenlund to feed Krause at the circle in all alone. And, Malinsky might even get a stick on that pass from Stenlund to Krause in trying to cover it, but it's just not enough. And it's a miscommunication. It's a miscommunication because Malinsky won that race to the puck initially. So, in short, the Avs are too good of a team. Even how they've started this year, how solid they've been, they just need to talk to each other. I think it's a very mature group, and I want to see them kind of get back to the basics and really just lean on each other, trust one another going into this third.
Stick with the process. You had pucks. Like I said, they were fighting the puck a bit. Stick with your process. Get back to your game. Take that intermission to settle, and they'll be in good shape. Third period is underway. We will be back right after the game to break down how this one finishes. Avs chasing in Utah down 2-1 here in the third period. We'll talk to you guys after. Take it easy.